everyone, how you doing today? We are going to cover a really big topic today, and that topic is anxiety. And I know that this is something that so many of you struggle with and deal with on a regular basis. And I want to offer you some help with this. We're going to talk about what anxiety really is, where it stems from, and then how to not just deal with or manage that anxiety, but how to truly heal from the things that are causing you to feel anxious. And I know that you may be using medications, you may be using meditation or relaxation or exercise or countless other ways to help you with your anxiety. And what I want to offer you first and foremost is that, like any other symptoms that you experience, it is possible to have true healing from the underlying source and the cause of those symptoms, instead of simply having to or trying to manage them so that you can just get through your life day to day. It is possible to live a life where you are not feeling weighed down with the heaviness of this anxiety all the time. So I want to just put that out there so you can think about that and envision that as a possibility, as a way of life for you. All right. So what is anxiety? Well, anxiety really stems from feeling fearful and feeling that you're not safe. So anxiety is not the thing that you're experiencing in and of itself. It's caused by underlying other emotions and other experiences that you have about your sense of being, about who you truly are. You've had some experiences in your past, and those experiences and your interpretation of your experiences in your environment have given you the feelings that of fear and of being out of control and of not feeling safe in that situation. And so when you experience anxiety in your day-to-day life, it comes across in one of two ways. You have essentially a chronic state of being where you just feel anxious most of the time, or you feel pretty good most of the time, but you have certain instances or situations that trigger that anxiety and bring it up for you. And I'm going to explain how that comes into being, and then I want to share with you how you can handle that anxiety in both of those situations. So we are human beings and animals. We all have a protective mechanism to help us survive and stay alive. And that protective mechanism, part of that mechanism, is our fight or flight response. And I am sure that you're familiar with this, especially if you've done any studying of your anxiety. Your fight or flight response is triggered anytime that you sense danger or that you feel like you're threatened. So this can be from something very obvious, like you're being physically attacked or someone is yelling at you, any sort of traumatic type of experience. That fight or flight response is going to be initiated. Or it might not be something so obvious of an attack, but it might be a situation where you just feel scared and fearful for some reason, and you feel like there's a threat. And that same experience, even if it's just your perception, and others may not have the same perception, but if you have the perception that you are under attack in some way, your fight or flight response is going to be initiated. The fight or flight mechanism is triggered by what's called the sympathetic nervous system, and that does a number of things that cause changes to happen in your body so you can deal with the threat. And it's called fight or flight because the idea is it gives you the ability to either physically fight your attacker or run away from your attacker. So let's say you are walking down the street and all of a sudden a couple guys come up and they try to steal your purse or your wallet or your money, or they attack you or whatever. This fight or flight response kicks in. You have a heightened awareness of what's going on. You get more adrenaline coursing through your body and other hormones that give you heightened reactions. They increase your reaction time. They give more blood to your heart and to your muscles so that you can use those muscles to either fight or to run away. They turn off things that don't matter. They turn off your digestion. because you don't need to be digesting your food. You want that energy for fighting and dealing with the threat, for example. And so you assess the situation and you say, okay, I can take this guy out, and you fight and you express and expel all of that energy by beating this guy up and saving yourself. Or you assess the situation and you say, whoa, I cannot win here, but you see an opportunity to escape and you run away. So either way, when this response is triggered in this situation, you have an opportunity then to either fight or to run, and to utilize this response for the purpose that it was designed for, which is to help you physically respond and to deal with the stress. So you do that, you go through this process, you get away or you fight, and afterwards you're still going to be feeling ramped up and excited for a while, but 2 or 3 days later, you're not still going to be feeling ramped up because you've gotten rid of and dealt with that response immediately. Now, let's say the same type of thing happens, that fight or flight response is triggered, but for whatever reason, you don't have the ability to express all of that excess energy. So maybe you are, you're at home or you're at work or you're just out with some friends and something happens and it triggers this same response from you. And you feel this sense of threat, you feel like you're being threatened, and you have this heightened awareness and your heart starts racing, but you don't actually physically do anything to deal with it because you don't need to. You don't go and fight somebody and beat them up, or you don't go run away. You're just sitting at your desk at work or sitting in a restaurant with some friends, and there's no actual physical threat, even though you feel that way. Well, what happens in this situation is your body has gone on this state of alert, and you haven't used your muscles, you haven't done all the pumping of your heart, you haven't gone running or fighting. And so all of these hormones and changes that have happened, instead of being expressed and dissipated very quickly, they will stay in your body now for hours and hours, and you will constantly feel like you're in this state of stress and heightened awareness because you are. And so what happens over time is when we continually experience these bouts of this fight or flight response, but we don't have an opportunity, and for whatever reason, to dissipate that response, our body stays in this level of heightened awareness and readiness, and that leads to a chronic state of tension, of stress, of fear, of anxiety, and because of that, because of the system that's activated, now the things that should work well don't. Normally, after the fight or flight, things calm down, and now you think, and now you can relax, and you feel calm and peaceful. And when you're relaxed, now you can digest your food. Now you can just let your whole body relax, and your environment is peaceful, and you feel happy, and you feel at ease. Okay? This is the way it's supposed to be. But if you have chronic anxiety because you have chronically stimulated your fight or flight mechanism, you don't ever feel that way. You constantly feel like everything is a threat. You have tenseness and tightness up in your shoulders. Your stomach doesn't feel good. You feel like it's in knots. You have digestive issues. You have problems with eating your food. And this whole system that creates this response also stimulates your adrenals. And so your adrenals, among many other things, they control your energy levels and they help control and regulate your weight. So maybe now you find that you're tired all the time. You're sleepy. It doesn't matter how much you sleep, you're just tired. Or you can't lose weight, or you find that you're gaining weight. These things might be there because you've got this high level of anxiety due to this system in your body being constantly stimulated, when in reality it's only supposed to be stimulated temporarily, and then you expel that energy and now you can relax. So when you have this chronic anxiety, you've created this false state of being that's perpetuating itself over and over again. And the anxiety itself and the feelings that you're experiencing can actually continue to perpetuate more and more of the anxiety. So you end up in this self-fulfilling circle of never feeling really good. So that's the kind of the basic overview of what the anxiety is and where it comes from. So it's this underlying sense of fear and not feeling safe and feeling like you're out of control. And so generally what happens is we are always feeling then like we're on the defensive and like we need to control our environment. And that doesn't go over very well, so that causes more anxiety. All right, so let's talk briefly about the more important thing probably that you're interested in, which is, well, now what do you do? Well, there are two things. When you have the chronic anxiety that is just kind of always your underlying state of being, you need to find some way to deal with that state of being on a daily basis. And you essentially want to lower your perception of threat. And even when you have the temporary anxiety that pops up, some things it's appropriate to have that response for, but many things it's not. Okay? So the first thing, either way, whether it's chronic or temporary anxiety, that we need to do is we want to find a way to feel safe. You want to find a way to help you feel safe both in your physical environment and also mentally and emotionally in terms of your well-being. Now, obviously, if you're in a situation where you're being abused or threatened in any way, do your best to leave that situation, because that is you're never going to feel completely safe there because you're being physically threatened. So you have to find a space where you can physically feel safe. This isn't just about being safe from physical threats, but you also need to feel safe emotionally and mentally, where you can just be accepted for being the way you are. This means that if you're not experiencing the anxiety, you can help so many other people around you by just providing a space of safety, by accepting others and their anxiousness or their fears and accepting them the way that they are. So find a place where you can feel safe and create a space like that wherever you live that you can go to and spend some time each day, even just for a few minutes, to help relax and let go. The second thing that you need to do is allow yourself to feel and experience whatever emotions you are feeling, either on a chronic level or when they pop up or when they're triggered from your interactions throughout your day. So allow yourself to feel the fear. Allow yourself to feel unsafe or out of control. And allow yourself to feel the anger that you might have, which is also a common underlying emotion with anxiety. Allow yourself to feel those things. Create opportunities through movement that allow and bring up those emotions. And then when they come up, instead of suppressing them, let them come out. This takes a lot of practice, okay? We'll talk about ways that you can specifically do this. In fact, let's do that right now. Finding ways to let your emotions come up in many cases involves physical motion, physically doing something, because your emotions, especially the traumatic experiences that have created the anxiety, are trapped within your body. They're trapped in your body from these hormones that have been released when you were in this fight or flight response. So go for a walk, go for a run, go lift some weights, go do some yoga or some Tai Chi, go do some boxing, something definitely physical. Ride a bike, go for a swim. If you don't want to do something like that, you can do something that's physical but a little more creative. Paint, draw, work on a little model, put together a puzzle even. Put some music on in a room of your house and dance and just let yourself move to the music and let your body go through whatever motions it needs to go through. But get some physical movement going, and then if things come up, great, allow them to come up. Just let them come up. You have to create the space of safety first so that your emotions can rise and you can let them come out. If you don't feel like you're safe, when those emotions come up, you're going to stuff them right back down and you're going to perpetuate the anxiety and the fear and the need to control things. So let those emotions come up and let them out. And here's the other thing that's critically important when we're dealing with anxiety. You want to deal with it in two ways. Okay, if you have the chronic anxiety, then you want to continually, every single day, work on finding things to help you feel safe. And that means finding ways to decrease that level of excitement, that fight or flight response, so that you can feel calm and peaceful. So seek out things that make you feel relaxed, that make you feel good, that make you feel happy. Give yourself permission to spend time doing those types of things, and to even spend time deciding what those things are for you. Here's the second thing though, and this is the thing that I think is critically important with the anxiety. When you are feeling high levels of anxiety in the moment, that is not the time to say, oh, just breathe, it's okay, just relax. I think that is probably one of the worst things you can do at that time. That energy is come up, and that energy is there, and it's there for a purpose, and the purpose is to be released. The purpose of that energy at that time is so that you can fight or so you can run. So use that energy and express it in some way. Obviously, don't hit somebody, but express that energy. Get it out physically in whatever way you can. Now, you might not be in a situation where you can physically yell or scream or run. Okay? So I want to give you something else that you can do at that time. Close your eyes, if you can close your eyes. If not, keep your eyes open. But close your eyes and just picture yourself doing whatever physical activity you need to do to dissipate that energy. When this comes up for me sometimes and I'm feeling anxious or frustrated or angry, I will close my eyes and I will scream and yell in my head. You can't do that in a lot of places when you're out and about during your daily life. People are going to kind of freak out if you do that. But you can do it in your head. And I simply just scream or yell until I feel myself and that emotion subside. And now I'm good. But the key is, when you are feeling that really high level of anxiety, that is not the time to say, just calm down. No, that is the time to express that emotion and that anxiety and that fear and whatever it is, and get it out. So find some way to get it out. All right, so the anxiety is there because of past trauma and past experiences that you have had in your life that have made you feel fearful, unsafe, and out of control. And so the majority of the time, as long as you are in an environment that is pretty safe, when our anxiety comes up, it's being triggered by something else. It's because we've been stimulating this fight or flight mechanism over and over and over and over again. And so now it's kind of a constant state of being. And so it's really easy for it to get triggered. So you want to find ways to make yourself feel safe physically and emotionally, and find ways where you can express and let those emotions out. And then when you are in this heightened state, when your anxiety is really high and it's triggered, do your best at that time to find a way to express it, not to continue to suppress it more and more. For myself, I do energy healing. drjenvasir.com, right? Here, this is what I provide from a lot of my clients. I work with a lot of people who come from traumatic and abusive backgrounds. And we use the energy healing as a way to release those emotions and those experiences that have become trapped within our bodies and that keep us experiencing those things over and over and over again. Physical exercise. I love to go for walks and get out and go for a hike. And I also love to put on my music and just let myself move and dance and let whatever comes up, come up. Find things that make you feel good, that make you feel safe, and that make you feel calm, and give yourself permission to do them on a regular basis. All right, I hope that you will take something away from this video on anxiety and find things that are useful for you, and I would love to know what you find that works for you. Thanks for listening again. Have a fantastic day.